Captain Juan gripped the edges of his command chair as the *Solace* shook violently. Through the main viewport, he watched the blue-green world of New Dawn grow smaller. Black dots swarmed around the planet like angry insects. Those weren't insects. They were Ravager ships. "Engine status," he said, his voice steady despite the fear in his chest. Officer Rim looked up from her console, her face pale. "FTL drive is at 30%, Captain. We can make one jump, maybe two if we're lucky." Juan nodded. Behind him, 500 people huddled in cargo bays and hallways, mothers holding children, old men with worried faces, workers still covered in dirt from the mines. They were the last humans to escape New Dawn. "Show me the colony," he ordered. The screen changed. The beautiful city where 500,000 people had lived was now in flames. Ravager ships dropped from the sky like rain. Their black, spiky forms cut through buildings. Walls fell. Towers crumbled. Juan felt sick. 3 days ago, New Dawn had been peaceful. Now it was dying. "Sir," called Rim, "3 Ravager scouts have changed course. They're following us. Distance: 20 minutes behind us. At current speed. 20 minutes. Not enough time." "Communications?" Juan asked. Officer Du shook his head. "Still damage, sir. Short range only." Juan closed his eyes for a moment. The *Solace* was a transport ship, not a warship. No weapons. Limited shields. If those scouts caught up, 500 more humans would die. He made his decision. "Officer Du, prepare an SOS message. Broadcast on all frequencies." The bridge went silent. Everyone stared at him. "Sir," said Security Chief Yon, "broadcasting will reveal our position to every Ravager ship in the system." "I know. We'll be overrun." "I know that too." Juan stood up. "But our message might reach someone who can help. It's worth the risk." Jan looked like he wanted to argue more but stopped. He knew the truth too. Without help, they were already dead. "Prepare the message," Juan repeated. Officer Du nodded and began typing. "Ready, sir." Juan took a deep breath. "This is Captain Juan of the civilian transport *Solace*. We have evacuated 500 survivors from New Dawn Colony. Our FTL drive is damaged. Ravager forces are in pursuit. We request immediate assistance from any human ships in range. I repeat, 500 civilians need evacuation. This is our last hope." "Send it," he ordered. "All frequencies, maximum power." Du pressed the button. "Message sending." "Sir." The SOS burst outward from the *Solace*, carrying their plea across the stars. It would reach nearby systems in minutes, more distant ones in hours. But would anyone answer? Most ships would run from the Ravagers, not toward them. "Now we wait," Juan said. He returned to the viewport. Space was vast and dark. Their small ship was alone against that darkness. "Captain," called Rim suddenly, "the Ravager scouts are accelerating. They'll reach us in 15 minutes now." 15 minutes. Juan thought of the people behind him. The children who still had lives to live. He couldn't give up. "Keep broadcasting," he ordered, "and prepare the escape pods. If they catch us, we'll scatter. Make it harder for them to kill everyone." His officers nodded grimly. The minutes passed slowly. The Ravager ships grew closer. 12 minutes. 10 minutes. 8. Then Officer Du gasped. "Captain, something's happening." Juan turned to the sensor display. Large objects were appearing near their position. Many large objects. "What are they?" he asked. "Ships, sir. Massive ships." Du's voice trembled. They're appearing out of nowhere." The sensor screen filled with new contacts. Not 5 or 10 ships. Dozens of them. Rim's eyes went wide. "Sir, I'm picking up energy readings unlike anything I've ever seen. Weapon systems are powering up." A chill ran down Juan's spine as recognition dawned. Everyone had heard the rumors, the stories, the legends. "It can't be," whispered Jan. But it was. The most feared military force in human history had answered their call. The Death Fleet had come. Admiral Jai stood on the command deck of her flagship, the Retribution *. Her black uniform fit perfectly against her tall, lean frame. Her eyes, dark and sharp, studied the holographic display showing 50 warships positioned in perfect formation. The human Death Fleet. Her fleet. For 10 years, they had hidden at the edge of known space, watching, waiting, training. The Death Fleet was humanity's last defense, a secret weapon to be used only when all else failed. Never had they revealed themselves, until today. "Admiral," called Officer Ta from his communication station. "The signal is confirmed. It's a civilian transport, the *Solace*. 500 refugees from New Dawn Colony." Jay nodded once. "And the colony?" "Gone. Mom. Ravager swarm. Total destruction." The bridge was silent. New Dawn had been home to 500,000 people. 3 Ravager scout ships are pursuing the *Solace*, reported Tactical Officer Quan. He was young but skilled. "The transport has damage to its FTL drive. They cannot escape." G turned to Security Chief Day, who stood with arms crossed. His face was like stone. "Your thoughts, Chief Da?" she asked. "Fleet protocol is clear, Admiral," he said. "We maintain stealth at all costs. The Death Fleet must remain a secret until humanity faces extinction." "And the 500 civilians. Regrettable losses." Officer Tai looked up from his station, anger flashing in his eyes. "Those are people, not numbers." "I know what they are," Dai shot back. "I also know that revealing ourselves for 500 could risk billions. The Death Fleet exists to save humanity, not individual humans." Jai held up her hand, stopping the argument. "Chief Engineer Song, report." Song stepped forward. Unlike the others, her uniform was stained with engine grease. She spent more time with machines than people. "The *Solace's distress signal is powerful," she said. "Our sensors detected it from 3 light years away. Other species will have heard it too." "Which species?" G asked. "Based on known patrol routes, I calculate a 94% chance that Ravager command ships have intercepted it. 78% chance for Sylvan Imperium scouts. 65% for Nexus Hive surveillance drones." G walked slowly around the holographic display. 50 Death Fleet warships. Each one could destroy a small moon. Each crew trained to perfection. They were meant to be humanity's last hope. But what good was hope that never came? "Show me the *Solace*, she ordered. The hologram changed to show a small transport ship. It was an old model, built for cargo, not passengers. 500 people would be crammed inside like animals. Scared, hungry, running for their lives. "The Ravager scouts will reach them in 6 minutes, Quan reported. G made her decision. "Prepare the fleet for combat jump," she ordered. "Target coordinates, the Solace's position." Day stepped forward. "Admiral, I must formally object. We are violating fleet protocol." "Noted," G said calmly. "Officer Quan, prepare targeting solutions for those Ravager scouts. I want them destroyed the moment we arrive." "Yes, Admiral." Quan's fingers flew over his console. "Engineer Song, prepare a team to board the Solace*, and repair their FTL drive." Song nodded sharply. "Already selecting my best people." "Officer Ta, when we arrive, open a channel to the Solace*. Tell them help has come." Ta smiled. "With pleasure, Admiral." G turned back to the hologram. The Death Fleet had been built for one purpose, to protect humanity from extinction. Today they would protect 500 humans. It was a start. "Chief Dai," she said. If we allow these 500 to die when we could save them, what are we protecting humanity from? We would become no better than the Ravagers. Day was silent for a moment. Then he nodded. Understood, Admiral. Security teams will stand ready to assist. All stations report ready, Admiral, called Quan. Jai looked at her crew. The best humanity had to offer. Today, they would finally fulfill their purpose. Jump in 3, 2, 1. The Retribution and 49 other massive warships vanished from their hiding place. In an instant, they reappeared around a small damaged transport ship, just as 3 Ravager scouts closed in for the kill. The Death Fleet had entered the war. The war room aboard the Retribution was cold and gray. A large table sat in the center, with a holographic display showing the Solace the Death Fleet, and the approaching Ravager ships. Admiral G had called her senior officers together. The Death Fleet had emerged from hiding, but now they needed a plan. They had destroyed the 3 Ravager scouts easily, but more would come. Many more. We should take the survivors and run, said Chief Da. He stood with his back straight, hands behind him. We have achieved our rescue mission. Now we must hide again. And go where? Asked Tactical Officer Quan. He was younger than the others, but his mind was sharp. The Ravagers will hunt the Solace. They never leave survivors. Then we take the civilians onto our ships and destroy the Solace. Day replied. Remove all evidence. Officer Ta shook his head. He was the oldest person in the room. That won't work. The Ravagers already know someone helped the Solace. They saw our ships. Word will spread. Admiral G looked at Chief Engineer Song. How long to fix the Solace's FTL drive? Song frowned. 6 hours, minimum. Their system is old and badly damaged. We don't have 6 hours, said Quan. He pointed to the hologram, where red dots were appearing. Long-range sensors show Ravager ships changing course. They're coming to investigate why their scouts went silent. How many ships? G asked. At least 30, possibly more. Day's face hardened. We can defeat 30 Ravager ships. Yes, said Jai, but not quietly, not secretly. She turned to Song. The Solace's captain. Have you spoken with him? Song nodded. Captain Wan. He's a civilian, but he kept his people alive. He has information about why the Ravagers attacked New Dawn. Bring him here, Jai ordered. Minutes later, Captain Wan entered the war room. He looked tired. His clothes were dirty, and his eyes showed he had not slept in days. Still, he stood tall. Captain Wan, said Jai. Tell us what happened at New Dawn. Wan looked at the officers around the table. 3 days ago, our scientists found something beneath the surface of New Dawn. Ancient technology. They said it was not human, not Ravager, not made by any known species. The room went quiet. The day after the discovery, a Sylvan ship entered our system. Wan continued. They said they were traders. They asked questions about our mining operations. Then they left. 6 hours later, the Ravagers came. Officer Tay's eyes widened. The Sylvans and Ravagers working together. That's not possible. They're enemies. Unless they both want what's buried on New Dawn, said Quan. Wan nodded. Our scientists thought the technology was powerful. Very powerful. The colony governor ordered it to be hidden. That's when the attack began. Admiral G walked around the table slowly, thinking. So the Ravagers destroyed 500,000 people for this technology. And now both they and the Sylvans will be searching the ruins. If they find it, said Dai, and if it's as powerful as the scientists thought, then millions more could die, finished Ji. She looked at Huan. Is the technology still there? Yes, he said, hidden in the old mining tunnels. The governor gave me the location before we escaped. He hoped someone could recover it before the enemy. Ji's decision was clear now. The Death Fleet could not simply run away. Too much was at stake. "We have a new mission," she announced. "We will split our forces. Half will escort the Solace to safety. The other half will go to New Dawn and recover the technology before the Ravagers or Sylvans find it." Day looked concerned. "Splitting our fleet is risky, Admiral." "Yes," Jai agreed. "But we have no choice. If this technology is as powerful as Captain Juan suggests, we cannot let it fall into enemy hands." She looked at the hologram again. More red dots had appeared. The Ravagers were coming in force. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "We move in 30 minutes. As the officers left to carry out their orders, she turned to Juan. "Captain, your people will be safe. You have my word." Juan looked at her with tired eyes. "Thank you, Admiral. But I want to help. Let me join the team going to New Dawn. I know the colony better than anyone." Jai studied him for a moment, then nodded. The Death Fleet had made its decision. There was no turning back now. Captain Juan stood on the bridge of the Solace, watching the massive warships through the viewport. The Death Fleet. He had heard stories since he was a child, but like most people, he thought they were just that. Stories. Myths to make humans feel safe when the galaxy was full of dangers. But they were real, and they were terrifying. The closest ship, the Retribution was 5 times larger than the Solace. Its hull was midnight black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Weapon systems covered its surface like angry spikes. Juan could now understand why even the mention of the Death Fleet made other species nervous. "Captain," called Officer Rim, "there's a shuttle approaching from the Retribution. Juan straightened his worn uniform. "Prepare to receive visitors." The Solace shook slightly as the shuttle docked. Minutes later, a woman in a grease-stained uniform walked onto the bridge, followed by 4 technicians carrying tools and equipment. "Chief Engineer Song." She introduced herself simply. "We're here to fix your FTL drive." "Thank you," said Juan. "My engine room is this way." As they walked through the crowded corridors, Song looked at the refugees huddled against walls and sitting in hallways. Children clung to parents. Old people sat with blank stares. Everyone looked tired and scared. "How did you manage to save so many?" Song asked quietly. "Not enough," Juan replied. "We had room for 600. Some didn't make it to the ship." Song nodded in understanding. They continued in silence until they reached the engine room. One of Song's technicians whistled when he saw the damaged FTL drive. "This thing belongs in a museum." "It was all we had," said Juan. Song examined the drive. "We can fix it, but it will take time. 4 hours, maybe 5. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Juan grabbed a nearby comm unit. "Bridge, report." "Sir." Rim's voice was tense. 2 Ravager scout ships just entered the area. Juan looked at Song. Her face showed no fear, only calm focus. "Watch," she said. Through a small viewport in the engine room, Juan saw the Ravager ships. They were shaped like insects, with sharp edges and glowing red lights. Fast and deadly. Then, without warning, one of the Death Fleet warships fired. There was no sound in space, but Juan imagined he could hear the weapon. A beam of bright energy cut through the first Ravager ship like it was made of paper. The second ship tried to turn, to run. Another beam. Another silent explosion. The whole encounter took less than 5 seconds. That was... Juan couldn't find the words. "Necessary," said Song, turning back to the FTL drive. "Now we work." While Song's team repaired the drive, Juan was called to meet with Admiral G on the Retribution. A small shuttle took him across the short distance between ships. The Retribution's docking bay was huge and spotless. Soldiers in black uniforms stood at attention as Juan walked past. They looked like perfect statues. Officer Ta met him. "Captain Juan, thank you for coming." The Admiral is waiting. Tad led him through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The asterisk retribution asterisk was like a flying city. Clean, ordered, powerful. They entered a room where Admiral G waited with Tactical Officer Quan and Security Chief Da. A large holographic map showed the New Dawn system. "Captain Juan," said Jue, "we need your help. The ancient technology you mentioned. We must find it before our enemies do." Quan pointed to the map. "Our plan is to send a small team to the surface. Fast and quiet. Get in, find the technology, get out." "I'll go with them," Juan said immediately. "I know the tunnels. It will be dangerous," warned Da. "The Ravagers are still on the surface. And if the Sylvans are involved, as you suspect, they may be there too." "I've lost my home," Juan said. His voice was steady. "My friends, my world. If going back can help stop this from happening to other colonies, I'll face any danger." Admiration flickered across G's face. "Very well. Lieutenant Min will lead the mission. His team leaves in 1 hour." As Juan turned to go, G added, "Captain, the Ravager main fleet is approaching. 30 ships at least. We will split our forces as planned. 25 ships will escort the Solace to safety while the rest of us go to New Dawn. If we don't return, you will," said Juan with more confidence than he felt. "The fate of many worlds might depend on what they found in those tunnels." Lieutenant Min checked his weapon one more time. He was young for a Death Fleet officer, but his eyes were old. He had seen many battles. This mission would be different, though. This time, they weren't destroying. They were saving. "Team ready?" he asked. 5 soldiers nodded. They wore black armor that could stop most weapons. Each carried special guns designed to kill quickly and quietly. Captain Juan felt out of place among them. His civilian clothes were dirty and torn. He carried no weapon. But he had something more valuable: knowledge. "The shuttle leaves in 5 minutes," said Min. "Once we land on New Dawn, we'll have 6 hours to find the technology and get out." Officer Quan entered the room. His face was serious. "There's a problem. Long-range sensors have detected a Sylvan ship hiding on the dark side of New Dawn's moon. They're watching the planet." Min frowned. "Do they know we're coming?" "We don't think so," said Quan. "But they might detect your shuttle if you take a direct path." Juan spoke up. "There's another way. The mining tunnels have hidden entrances in the mountains. If we land far from the colony and go underground, we can reach the technology without being seen from above." Min looked at him with new respect. "How far are these entrances from where we need to go?" 2 hours on foot through the tunnels. "That leaves us very little time to find the technology and get back." Juan nodded. "It's the safest way." Min made his decision. "We'll do it. Officer Quan, inform Admiral G of our new plan." 20 minutes later, their shuttle left the retribution. Instead of heading straight for New Dawn, they took a long path around the moon, staying hidden from the Sylvan ship. The shuttle was small and fast, painted black to blend with space. Inside, the team sat in silence. The Death Fleet soldiers were calm, as if they were going for a walk instead of a dangerous mission. Juan wished he felt the same way. Min sat next to him. "Tell us more about this technology. What does it look like? How big is it?" "I don't know exactly," said Juan. "The governor only told me where it was hidden. He said it was small enough to carry but powerful enough to change everything." "Not very helpful," muttered one of the soldiers. Min ignored him. Why would the Ravagers destroy an entire colony for this technology? What makes it so special? Juan shook his head. "I don't know, but the scientists were excited when they found it. Scared, too." The shuttle pilot called back to them. "Entering New Dawn's atmosphere in 1 minute. Sensors show Ravager ships patrolling the main colony area." "Take us to the landing coordinates," ordered Min. The shuttle shook as it entered the atmosphere. Through a small window, Juan could see his home world. Parts of it were still burning. Black smoke rose from the colony center. He looked away. They landed in a rocky area 50 miles from the main colony. The mountains around them would hide them from scanning. "Move quickly," said Min as they exited the shuttle. "Captain Juan, lead the way." Juan pointed to a small opening between rocks. "That's the entrance to the mining tunnel. It will be dark inside." The team activated lights on their helmets and followed Juan into the tunnel. It was cold and damp. Water dripped from the ceiling. Their footsteps echoed against the stone walls. After an hour of walking, they heard something ahead. Min raised his hand, and everyone stopped. "What is it?" whispered Juan. Min pointed forward. In the distance, lights moved in the tunnel. Lights that weren't theirs. "We're not alone," Min said quietly. "Ravagers or Sylvans, I can't tell." Juan's heart raced. The enemy was already in the tunnels. The race for the technology had begun, and they were behind. Min signaled to his team. 2 soldiers moved ahead silently, disappearing into the darkness. "We need another route," Min said to Juan. "Is there a way around?" Juan tried to remember the tunnel maps he had studied years ago. "Yes, there's a side tunnel about 100 meters back. It's longer, but will get us there." "Then we go back," decided Min, quietly. As they turned, a distant sound echoed through the tunnel, something between a scream and a roar. The enemy had found Min's scouts. Their mission had just become much more dangerous. In space above New Dawn, Admiral Jai stood on the bridge of the Retribution *. 25 Death Fleet ships had left to escort the Solace to safety. 25 remained with her. "Ravager fleet approaching," reported Officer Ta. 32 ships. They will be in weapons range in 10 minutes. Jay nodded. "And the Sylvan ship?" "Still hiding behind the moon. They haven't moved." Jai studied the tactical display. The Ravagers outnumbered them, but Death Fleet ships were stronger. It would be a close fight. "Any word from Lieutenant Min's team?" she asked. "No, Admiral," said Ta. "The rock in those tunnels blocks communications." Ji frowned. Min and his team were on their own. "Prepare all ships for battle," she ordered. "We must keep the Ravagers busy until Min completes his mission." Deep beneath the surface of New Dawn, Min, Juan, and 4 soldiers hurried through the side tunnel. Water splashed under their boots. The air was cold and smelled of dirt. "How much farther?" Min asked. Juan tried to remember the tunnel map. "1 more mile, I think. Then we reached the main science lab." They had heard nothing more from the 2 scouts who went ahead. Min had tried to call them on the radio, but the rocks blocked the signal. "What exactly are we looking for in this lab?" asked one of the soldiers. "The governor didn't tell me," said Juan. "Just that we would know it when we saw it." They walked for another 30 minutes before reaching a large metal door. The sign above it read Science Lab Alpha. "This is it," said Juan. Min signaled for the team to be quiet. He put his ear against the door and listened. Nothing. He slowly pushed the door open. The lab inside was a mess. Tables were overturned. Papers covered the floor. Blood stained one wall. "Search for anything unusual," ordered Min. "We have less than 4 hours to find the technology and get back to the shuttle." They spread out, looking through broken equipment and torn papers. Juan went to a computer that was still working. He typed in his access code, but it didn't work. "Someone changed the passwords," he said. Min came over. "Can you break in?" "Maybe. Give me time." While Juan worked on the computer, the soldiers continued searching the lab. One of them, a woman named Gil, called out, "Lieutenant, I found something." They gathered around a small safe hidden under a fallen shelf. The door of the safe was partly open. "It looks like someone tried to open it but couldn't finish," said Gil. Min pulled the safe door open the rest of the way. Inside was a small metal box with strange markings on it. The box glowed with a soft blue light. "Is this it?" Min asked Juan. Before Juan could answer, they heard footsteps in the tunnel outside the lab. Many footsteps. "We have company," whispered Gil. Sounds like at least 10. Min made a quick decision. Gil, Han, guard the door. Sue, help Captain Juan gather any data about this device. I'll try to contact the shuttle. As the team moved to their positions, Juan turned to the computer again. This time he tried the emergency override code that all colony leaders knew. The computer accepted it. Files appeared on the screen. Juan quickly searched for information about the artifact. What he found made his blood run cold. "Lieutenant," he called urgently. "I know what this is. It's not a weapon like everyone thought. It's a communication device. The scientists believed it could translate and broadcast messages to any species, anywhere in the galaxy. No delays. No misunderstandings." Min looked up from his radio. Why would the Ravagers destroy a colony for that? Juan read more from the screen. Because whoever controls this could unite species against them. Or what? Or they could use it to find every human settlement, no matter how well hidden. Juan looked at Min with fear in his eyes. Even the location of Earth. Before Min could respond, shooting started outside the lab door. The enemy had arrived. "We need to get this out now," shouted Min, grabbing the box. "No matter what, this device cannot fall into enemy hands." Juan looked at the data one last time before the screen went black. Someone had remotely cut the power. They were trapped in the lab with the most valuable technology in the galaxy, and the enemy was breaking in. Gunfire echoed through the lab as Gil and Han defended the door. The enemy, a mix of Ravagers and Sylvan soldiers, tried to push their way in. "We need a way out," shouted Min. He held the glowing blue box tightly. Juan looked around the lab frantically. His eyes fell on a large vent in the ceiling. There, the air system connects to other parts of the facility. Sue, the tall soldier, quickly stacked tables to reach the vent. She ripped off the cover and looked inside. "It's big enough. We can fit." "Gil, Han, fall back," ordered Min. The two soldiers retreated from the door, firing to keep the enemy back. Sue climbed into the vent first, then helped pull the others up. Min went last, kicking away the tables as he climbed. They crawled through the dark, dusty air ducts. Behind them, they heard the enemy break into the lab. "Where does this lead?" whispered Min. "If I remember correctly, to the power station," said Juan. "From there we can reach the emergency exit tunnel." They moved as quietly as possible. The blue box in Min's pack glowed softly, giving them just enough light to see. After 20 minutes of crawling, they reached another vent. Sue looked through the slats. "Clear," she said. They dropped down into the power station. Unlike the lab, this room was untouched by the attack. Generators hummed quietly. "The exit tunnel is through that door," said Juan, pointing. As they moved toward the door, the glowing box suddenly pulsed brighter. Strange symbols appeared on its surface. "What's happening?" asked Min. Juan stared at the box. "I think it's activating." Before anyone could respond, the box projected a hologram into the air. It showed a star map of the galaxy with thousands of tiny dots of light. "Those are settlements," said Juan in awe. "Human settlements. Some I've never even heard of." Min looked closer. "And those red dots moving among them. Ravager fleets," said Sue. "We're seeing their positions in real time." The hologram shifted to show a new image, a large Sylvan ship hiding behind New Dawn's moon. "It's showing us what's happening now," said Juan. "The device doesn't just communicate. It can spy on any ship in the galaxy." Min studied the hologram carefully. "Look there," he pointed. The image showed inside the Sylvan ship. Small shuttles were being prepared. "They're launching something," said Gil. The hologram zoomed in to show Sylvan soldiers boarding the shuttles. Each soldier carried a small device on their belt. "Those are cloaking devices," said Min. "They're planning to sneak onto our ships." Suddenly, the hologram showed the asterisk retribution asterisk. Admiral Jai stood on the bridge, preparing for battle against the Ravager fleet. But the image then revealed something else. 3 Sylvan soldiers already on board, hidden in a storage room. They've infiltrated the flagship. Min grabbed his radio. "We need to warn the Admiral." Sue shook her head. "The signal won't reach through all this rock. We need to get back to the surface." "There's no time," said Juan. He pointed to the box. "Maybe we can use this. It showed us the Sylvans on the ship. Perhaps it can send messages too." Min hesitated, then placed the box on a table. "How do we work it?" Juan studied the symbols on the surface. Some looked familiar from the computer files he had seen. He carefully touched one that resembled a broadcast symbol. The box hummed. A small panel opened, revealing what looked like a microphone. "I think you just talk into it," said Juan. Min leaned toward the device. "This is Lieutenant Min to Admiral Jai. Sylvan infiltrators are on board the Retribution *. Repeat, enemy infiltrators on your ship. Storage room on deck 7. The box pulsed once, then returned to its soft glow. "Did it work?" asked Han. Before anyone could answer, they heard movement in the air duct behind them. The enemy had followed their path. "We need to move," said Min, grabbing the box. "To the exit tunnel. Now." As they ran, Juan wondered if their message had reached the Admiral. If not, the Death Fleet's most powerful ship might fall from within, and somewhere above them, beyond the rock and metal and sky, the battle for humanity's future had already begun. Admiral G walked quickly through the corridors of the Retribution *. The Ravager fleet was just minutes away, but something else bothered her. She had heard Min's warning, not through any normal channel, but directly in her mind. It was as if someone had whispered in her ear from across the void of space. Sylvan infiltrators on deck 7. She had learned long ago to trust her instincts. Officer Ta walked beside her, along with 4 armed guards. "Admiral, the battle is about to begin," said Ta. "You should be on the bridge." "First, we checked the storage room," Jai replied. Her hand rested on her sidearm. They reached deck 7. The corridor was quiet and empty. G signaled for the guards to prepare their weapons. They approached the storage room silently. J nodded once. A guard kicked the door open, and they rushed inside. The room appeared empty at first. Boxes and equipment lined the walls. Nothing moved. Then Jai saw it, a slight shimmer in the air, like heat rising from a hot surface. She fired her weapon without hesitation. The air rippled, and a Sylvan soldier appeared as its cloaking device failed. 2 more shimmers revealed the other infiltrators. The room exploded into gunfire. She dove behind a metal container. Ta took cover beside her as the guards exchanged fire with the Sylvans. "How did you know?" asked Ta. Ji shook her head. "A warning. Somehow from Lieutenant Min." 1 guard fell, hit by Sylvan fire. Another Sylvan dropped, its blue blood spreading across the floor. Jai leaned out and fired 3 quick shots. The second Sylvan fell. The third threw something that rolled across the floor toward them. "Grenade," shouted Ta. Jay kicked it away just before it exploded. The blast shook the room and knocked her down. Her ears rang. Through the smoke, she saw the last Sylvan running for the door. "Stop him," she yelled. "He's heading for the bridge." Meanwhile, deep beneath the surface of New Dawn, Min's team raced through the emergency exit tunnel. The ancient device glowed in Min's pack. Behind them, they heard the enemy getting closer. "The exit is just ahead," gasped Juan. His legs burned from running, but fear pushed him forward. The tunnel began to slope upward. Light appeared in the distance. Daylight. They were almost out. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "What was that?" asked Gil. "Orbital bombardment," said Min. "The battle has started." They ran faster. The tunnel exit was a small opening between rocks, hidden from above. They emerged into daylight and fresh air. Around them, the mountains stood tall. In the distance, they could see smoke rising from the colony. More explosions shook the ground. Looking up, they saw flashes of light in the sky, ships firing at each other in orbit. "The shuttle is a mile east," said Min. "We need to hurry." As they started moving, Han pointed to the sky. "Look!" A Ravager ship was falling from orbit, trailing fire and smoke. It crashed into the mountains with a deafening roar. The ground trembled. "The Death Fleet is winning," said Sue with a smile. "Don't celebrate yet," warned Min. "We still need to get off this planet." They moved quickly through the rocky terrain. The shuttle was hidden in a small valley. As they approached, Min used his radio. "Shuttle pilot, this is Lieutenant Min. We have the package and are approaching. Prepare for immediate takeoff." No response. Min tried again. "Shuttle pilot, do you copy?" Still nothing. They reached the edge of the valley and looked down. The shuttle was there, but something was wrong. The side door was open. No one moved inside. "Stay low," whispered Min. "Gil, circle around and check it out." Gil nodded and disappeared among the rocks. The others waited, weapons ready. 5 minutes later, Jill returned. Her face was grim. "The pilot is dead. Shot in the head. Someone has been inside the shuttle, but they're gone now." Juan felt cold fear in his chest. "Can any of you fly it?" Min nodded. "I can, but I don't like this. It feels like a trap." Another explosion rocked the sky. A Death Fleet ship was taking heavy damage, its engines failing as it fought 3 Ravager ships. "We have no choice," said Juan. "We need to get this device to Admiral G." Min looked at each member of his team, then at the shuttle below. "We go together, fast and ready for anything. The future of humanity depends on what we do next." Above them, the battle for New Dawn raged on. But the real battle, the one that would decide everything, was just beginning. The bridge of the Retribution was chaos. Officers shouted reports as the battle raged outside. Through the viewport, Admiral G could see her Death Fleet ships fighting the Ravager forces. They were holding their own, but barely. "Admiral," called Tactical Officer Quan, "3 more Ravager ships have appeared from behind the planet, and the Sylvan vessel is moving." J's eyes narrowed. She had dealt with 2 infiltrators, but the third was still loose somewhere on the ship, and now this new threat. "Where is the shuttle from the surface?" she asked. "No sign yet," replied Quan. "Wait, we're picking up a small ship leaving the atmosphere now. It's not responding to our calls." Jai pressed a button on the command console. "Security, this is the Admiral. Find the Sylvan infiltrator now." As she spoke, the doors to the bridge slid open. Officer Tai entered, his uniform torn and bloody. "Ta, what happened?" G asked. "Ambush," he gasped. The Sylvan wasn't heading for the bridge. He was heading for the main weapon controls. G's blood ran cold. The Retribution's main weapon could destroy a planet. If the Sylvan gained control of it. "All security to Deck 4, now," she ordered. Meanwhile, Min piloted the shuttle through New Dawn's atmosphere. The small craft shook violently. Behind him, the team held tight to their seats. Juan clutched the ancient device in his arms. "We have company," said Sue, looking at the scanner. 2 Ravager fighters on our tail. "And 3 more ahead," added Gil. "They're trying to box us in." Min pushed the shuttle's engines to their limits. "We need to reach the Retribution *. Juan, can you use that device to contact the Admiral again?" Juan studied the glowing box. "I'll try." He touched the symbols as he had before. The box hummed and opened. Juan spoke into it. "Admiral G, this is Captain Juan. We have the device and are attempting to reach you. We are surrounded by Ravager ships. Please help." The box pulsed, and suddenly a hologram appeared. It showed the bridge of the Retribution *. G stood there, giving orders to her crew. "She can't hear us," said Juan. Then he had an idea. but maybe we can show her something. He thought hard about what they needed the Admiral to see. The hologram shifted, showing their shuttle surrounded by Ravager ships. On the bridge of the Retribution G stopped mid-sentence as a small hologram appeared in the air before her. It showed a shuttle, Min's shuttle, surrounded by enemy ships. "What is this?" she whispered. The hologram changed again, showing Deck 4 of her own ship. The Sylvan infiltrator was there, attaching a device to the main weapon controls. "Security to Deck 4 immediately," she shouted. Then she turned to Quan. "That shuttle needs help. Send 2 fighters to these coordinates." Back in the shuttle, they saw the hologram change. It showed Death Fleet fighters launching from the Retribution *. "Help is coming," said Juan with relief. "Not soon enough," replied Min grimly. A Ravager ship fired. The shuttle rocked as the blast hit their shields. "Shields at 40%, reported Han. "One more hit like that." Juan looked at the device in his hands. If the Ravagers captured it, they could find every human settlement in the galaxy. It would be the end of humanity. "Min," he said quietly, "if we can't make it to the Retribution *, we have to destroy this device." Min nodded. "I know." Another blast hit the shuttle. The lights flickered. Smoke filled the cabin. "Shields failing," said Han. "We won't survive another hit." Juan looked at the device one last time. Then he had an idea. "Wait," he said. "This thing can communicate with any ship in the galaxy, right? What if we send a message, not just to the Death Fleet, but to everyone?" Min looked at him. "What kind of message?" "A call for help. To every human ship out there." Min considered this for a moment, then nodded. "Do it." Juan activated the device again. This time, he focused all his thoughts on one simple message. He thought of his home, now destroyed. He thought of the 500 survivors on the SOS *. He thought of humanity fighting alone against enemies that wanted them gone. "This is Captain Juan of New Dawn Colony. The human Death Fleet exists. They answered our call when we needed them. Now they need us. Any ship that can hear this message, come to these coordinates. Stand with humanity. Stand now, or there will be nothing left to stand for."